Folks, hello and welcome to Gamers Health. I am Rach Tenkar, your bartender in the OSR. I know, it's going to be something out there going, why are you the bartender in the OSR? Because it's Tenkar's Tavern. It's the inside joke. I'm sorry.
It's very special.
It's very special. With me is my wife, Rach. All right,
Hello.
properly known as Rachel, but uh, listen, if you see Rachel Etiquette, oh, actually, wow, that light behind us is like, look at that, gives me a halo effect.
Oh, right, because the glare on the
Yeah,
hutch.
no, no. We've got our lighting working now. Alexa, set Rachel's lights to 50%. Happy with Rachel. There we go. Little bit less halo effect going on there. Um, so a lot of times when we're at conventions, it's Tenkar and Rach. People they know Rachel as Rach.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing. I appreciate it. Rach does too. So if you looked at the title for this episode, I mentioned we're going to be talking a bit about accessible yoga. We're going to be talking about sleep. I'm going to also be talking about a little bit of a stress level, which I had going with my car and how that stress has been relieved by the purchase of a new car, yet has at the same time gone up because on another level, it's like, oh, holy crap, I now have car payment again, which I haven't had in a number of years. So there's all these little things of life stress. But I'm going to throw the virtual ball into Rachel's lap because Rach, the last 2 weekends and for next weekend, has been doing accessible yoga training.
Well, there's a whole bunch of trainings.
Oh, so hey,
It's like 3 different trainings because they all sort of overlapped. So I did the accessible training for 2 weeks that ended on
okay.
Monday. And that's accessible yoga is basically a type, it's not quite a type of yoga or a lineage or a certain orientation to it, but it's just ways of helping people who don't think that they can do yoga be able to do yoga. So um being able to find ways of adapting a pose for somebody uh who might have a different body shape or some sort of a disability, things like that. Learned a lot of uh, chair yoga in there. That was my first exposure to that,
That's going to be
really.
me, by the way.
Yeah, so
Just so you
Heath's
folks understand,
gonna have a chair yoga session.
I'm going to be. I already had bed yoga, and get. Don't be like Joe the lawyer and have a dirty effing mind.
And you liked it. And then you had
Yes,
so a little more the other night,
yes. I have an actual issue, and I haven't mentioned this, but um, I have sciatica, and my sciatica issues. It used to be horrible with the calves, horrible with the calves. They're still not great, but they're a lot better than they were. And the lower back. The lower back is actually better, but now it's my left hip. So,
And your hamstrings are crazy
oh, my
tight.
hamstrings have always been crazy tight. But so, what it is like when I put my socks on, I can put them on my right foot without much issue. But when I go to my left foot, it is painful. It's been less painful since we've been doing some of the yoga stretches and yoga moves. So I got to
Mm-hmm.
give a lot of credit to yoga and to Rach
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
because today I got my socks on and I didn't have
Really?
yes I didn't have to go oh Rach please um
Yeah,
just
because I was in the training. He was like,
no
I'm not going to disturb her to put on socks.
by the way, Zach said he's excited to be able to bribe.
Is that
Yeah, that
holy shit, he put $5 in there.
$5 into the pot, and he
Do
goes
it,
and
sir.
he goes that we triggered his Alexa, and I shouldn't wear socks. Listen, we don't wear. I didn't wear socks until uh, I didn't wear socks nearly the whole summer until we started doing the hiking. In which case, I realized hiking in Tivas not quite the way you want to hike. So I had to back off on that, and move on to putting socks and shoes on. But we don't live in Arizona.
Yeah.
Where
Alexa often wants to pipe in during during yoga trainings or while I'm giving a like a session.
There you go. As well,
Everybody's like, what? I'm like, Eliza, stop it. You're embarrassing me.
but by the way, and this is just going to be an inside joke, which the inside person will probably not know until next week. But I ordered these wine glasses. These, and Rach has one too. These thermal little wine glasses, which I don't have to use them just for wine. On
Any
Amazon.
drink you want.
And
They're just shaped.
Right, but they are advertised as wine glasses. They got that little, like, but they're like those wine glasses that you got.
The roundness of it, so
Yeah.
you can smell the. I mean, I did that just a minute ago. I was like, how does this Pinot Noir smell?
So, but the inside joke is this way: the best hair in the OSR, Ben Barsh, can't criticize or critique me for having ice in my red wine. Because
Although he can hear tinkling in there.
All right. Well, I'm not going to be juggling my wine back and forth when Ben is in the room. But
when you're down to the last bit, you'll be like.
So Zach said his A. We're not going to mention it again so it doesn't start looking for it. Said, I can't fund a group called Rachel's Lights. That's funny. See, we hold major power over people and their smart devices. But yeah, Rachel's been doing yoga training.
Yeah, so there was another training that I did earlier this week. It was like a 3-day training, and it was about a certain type of yoga. It's called Yoga Nidra, and this is a really cool form of yoga. Nidra in Sanskrit, I guess, means sleep. So it's sleep yoga, and basically the point of it is to assist people with either going to sleep or just like relaxing. It's a type of yoga that you could think of it sort of as guided meditation, but what it's doing is sort of bringing you to a hypnagogic state, which means sort of on the edge of sleep and on the edge of wakefulness, so that this way you're able to observe, and basically the teacher's voice is sort of an anchor, that guides along the meditation. And it's something that also kind of releases emotions, like with certain parts of the meditation. So it's kind of a cool thing. The military also uses it. In the military, it's called I rest, because I think if they called it Yoga Nidra and explained the Sanskrit meanings, people might not be up for it.
I'm not doing that crap.
Yeah,
There's no way I'm going to be doing yoga.
And it was I rest was, I guess, brought to the fore by his name is Richard Miller, and you can find stuff on Audible with him. You can find Yoga Nidra on, iTunes and what's the other one? Spotify. And just kind of try it and see how it feels for you. There's a couple of different schools. I went with Mona Anand's Ishta training because I had been exposed to that during a restorative training, which was really cool in the way that they used both of these types of yoga together. It basically it helps power up the parasympathetic nervous system, which means it keeps you, it takes you out of that sort of fight or flight kind of anxious place,
right?
And it sort of helps you with some of it to be able to ground yourself, to be able to start to bring on the parasympathetic nervous system and power it up, so that this way you're able to rest, you're able to your digestive system, both physically and mentally, is able to work that way. So yeah. And then they say too that if you do like a half an hour of yoga nidra, that it's equivalent to like 6 hours of sleep. And I think that's probably why the military uses it, to help people be able to like call up that parasympathetic nervous system so that they're not constantly in fight or flight, and that they get some kind of reprieve from it. But then also that, the person can be useful for longer without as much sleep.
Right.
So,
I was about to ask you
yeah.
about that because, I mean, totally side topic, but kind of on topic. This week, the first half of this week, I was not getting good sleep.
Well, because I had to be up so early.
Yeah, and my mind was doing one of those, flips. It's the reason why Wednesday morning at 4:15 I'm doing a blog post, because your mind gets into that position. And I used to suffer that when I used to work as a cop, as a sergeant. There would be times when there was just so much stuff going on in your work life that that you can't let it go. You lie in bed, and what really
the government comes to audit you for the week, and you don't sleep for that week because you're constantly going over, what did I miss and how can I address that right now so they can go away happy.
You're trying to stay a step ahead of whatever's going on in the real world, or you're trying to. So you're lying down, and the moment your brain you think is going to do that switch, it doesn't. And I used to suffer that a lot when I was younger, in my 20s. I could literally lie in bed sometimes for 4 hours before I'd fall asleep. I've gotten better at it. So since I retired, I generally, according to my watch, my Apple Watch, I generally fall asleep. It appears within about 20 minutes after turning off the light, which is amazing. But this week,
and that's good because if you don't want to go like, bam, you get in the bed 2 minutes later. You don't want that, because you're not getting proper sleep that way.
No.
Your body has to go through the whole
decompression, really, is what it comes down to.
Exactly. Release.
Right. Mm-hmm. So, like I said, this week, I mean, and I've learned this in the past. If I'm lying in bed, and I'm really, this is what I should be doing. If I'm lying in bed and then at least an hour has passed and I haven't fallen asleep, I should get my ass out of bed, watch TV for half an hour, read a book for half an hour, put on YouTube for half an hour, get on my computer and do research, or do a blog post, or do something, because I need to get my mind out of whatever path it won't get off of. I got to kind of reboot it. And that's what I found. Wednesday, I guess it was really Tuesday night, but that's what really happened Tuesday into Wednesday. I was just like, oh, you know what? This just isn't happening. I've got to try something that maybe will change what's going on.
Greyhawk
Grognard, Joe Block. Joe, welcome. I hope you're not Italian, because I'm having red wine with ice, but there. Threw myself under the bus because I can do that because Ben Barsh isn't here. If Ben was here, I would never admit to it. But here's the thing. You don't know ahead of time, generally speaking, when you're going to find that you're going to fall into that sleepless aspect. Now, the technique that Rach is talking about is something that I'd actually like to learn, because it just sounds like a good technique to be able to let go of the day's trials and tribulations that are kicking around your mind. Because a lot of times you don't even realize what is kicking around your mind until you try to go to sleep, and then your subconscious starts coming to the forefront, right? Because you're no longer suppressing it. And now stuff that's been kicking around your mind for a bit during the day, because it's an important enough issue that you're thinking about it, but not necessarily consciously, comes to the forefront. And now you're preoccupied. Counting sheep, that old method of counting sheep, has never done shit for me. I've even tried counting beer bottles in my sleep. Doesn't work. It's like you try to, like, I'm going to start with Sam Adams. I'll do the first 10 will be Sam Adams, and then I'll move on to Corona, and then I'll move on to Heineken.
Right. So in Yoga Nidra, that process of like if you think of counting sheep or whatever, it's not just counting sheep. Like some of the technique, there's a bunch that goes into it, and I'll do it with you.
Okay.
Not now, but
no.
At bed, we can do it at bedtime. Or we can do it whenever, because it's also something that helps you tap your subconscious too. So it's like you can do it and not have the goal of falling asleep. So it doesn't always have to happen at night.
Okay.
Yeah. So one of the things is like being able to breathe, like in this practice, like, you can usually we start with 11. Some people do 27. Some people do 108. It depends. But you count backwards with, like, say, 11 in, 11 exhale, 10 inhale, 10 exhale, and you just keep going to 1. And usually what happens is that you kind of get sidetracked. And then you just kind of, if you get sidetracked, that's fine. That's kind of what we expect. So just return to 11 and start the process over again. People who have a harder time, letting go and relaxing into it, you count down 20 from 27. And it's okay if you fall asleep during that. That's kind of
the whole point. Now,
yeah.
I'm going to throw this out there for you, Rach. I'm going to guess that this is going to be something that would actually convert pretty well to being able to do on a YouTube.
Most definitely.
So maybe we will get that one up before we get up certain like the actual from the yoga classes.
Mm-hmm.
This might be something that we can get up earlier. Mm-hmm. So and share it with the community, because listen, gamers' health is important to both of us, because of course the health issues that I've gone through. The health issues that Rach has struggled through.
Yeah. And there's many, many health complications that can come to you when you're constantly in that fight or flight. Like, we don't have to run from lions, or generally we don't have to worry about contact with poisonous snakes or things like that. So, or predator somewhere, like that's pretty rare now. However, our anxiety goes up because of the things that we're doing every day, like the workplace dramas, sometimes our own family dramas, those kinds of things. And, being able to sort of just shut that off and be able to upregulate your parasympathetic nervous system reduces the health impact, the negative impact of constantly being in fight or flight.
So from Joe, I do a sort of mantra. I welcome sleep. Sleep refreshes the mind and restores the body. Nice. I welcome sleep.
I like it.
If you do that when you go to sleep, you'll train your body to sleep when you hear it. I still yawn when I say or even type it.
Yeah.
It'll take a month or so before you train your body for it, and that's good. I mean, I'll be honest with you. When I was working midnights, my God, I envied. I had a lieutenant who would go out to his car, take his meal in his personal, so he'd be gone for about a 2-hour stretch, and he'd be asleep within a minute, and then he wouldn't wake up until his alarm went off, or one of us called him on his cell phone to remind him to come back to the office. God bless him. That is awesome. Me, I tried sleep. I brought a small little travel pillow with me. I tried sleeping in one of the interview rooms that we had. We had a carpeted floor, and I figured I'd just put myself in the corner. And
on the carpet.
Yeah, but that was fine. I had my jacket kind of propped up. But here's the deal: it wasn't that I couldn't get comfortable. It was that I couldn't shut my mind down.
Yeah, somehow work and sleep just don't kind of go together.
Yeah, I could never do it. I think I slept once at work. I had like a 20-hour day, and I had to come back 4 hours later to go to court. And I went to the crib, as we called it, in my old command, and quickly realized that I'm sure bedding in a hot sheet hotel that hadn't been changed was probably cleaner than the mattresses that we had. So I went to my locker and got a bunch of dirty clothes that I had accumulated and laid on top of them, and then slept for 3 hours, which I actually did sleep, and then woke up and I was like, oh my God, where the hell am I? Because I thought I was in hell.
Oh
Because it was
no.
just that little red light for the exit sign above the door leading out to the locker room,
Oh yeah.
and it really was bizarrely scary. So waking up in a place that you're not used to can also be put you right into the fight or flight routine, which is what kind of
Right,
did for me at
right,
that point.
right.
So now, stress. We had the stress 2 weeks ago. Right? We were supposed to be at ShireCon. Had everything planned. We were supposed to see Joe there and a bunch of others. And what it came down to is Thursday, the day before we were supposed to go out, I was not huge muffler problems, but enough that I didn't want to drive 2.5, 3 hours each way and be at the mercy of a car that may have had problems that got worse. Zachary, by the way, uses the Calm app to fall to sleep.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna mention something about that in a second. So I had some stress, and we went to our local car dealership, and we were told that no cars are available until December at best. You got to put in an order, and because listen, we've all heard, right? New cars are a rarity. Old cars are at a premium. So it was a stressful period until I got the phone call last Saturday, and it's like, are you still interested in the one that you looked at on the floor, the 2021? I'm like, yeah. Well, we just had a cancellation. If you want it, it's yours. So as of yesterday, was it? Is it yesterday? No,
No, no, on
Thursday.
Thursday.
2 days ago. We are the owners of a brand new Subaru Forester.
A 2021 Subaru Forester.
Which we got it with 8 miles on, which I think was partially due to having to drive it to the dealer's shop to have them.
Yes, to put the moldings and the special little bells and whistles.
Yeah, so the auto dimming mirrors. Listen, I'm 54, and my theory is at this point in my life, if I'm going to buy a car, I'm going to keep it for a number of years. I might as well get something that maybe not necessarily top of the line, because you go top of the line, you're getting bells and whistles that no jackass will ever use in our life. But you know what?
Yeah, we didn't go for concierge service.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Let me hit my Starlink. Hi, I'd like to.
Could you make my doctor's appointment
for me? That's. Hi, I'm calling on the behalf of Rach and Tenkar. I'd like to make a doctor. Huh?
Just because I want people to know that I have a concierge.
So yeah,
I'm special.
We're not that special, folks. Okay, don't. But Zachary using the Calm app. Here's something when it comes to sleep.
Is this Zach?
Yes, different now. No, different Zach.
Oh.
Here's the thing. Last spring, last March through end of May, I had congestive heart failure. Didn't know it, but I was retaining water. And here's the thing: I could not sleep. I could sleep. If I was going to try to sleep, I had to be in the recliner, and I felt if my watch told me I got 4 hours of sleep, holy shit, I had a good night's sleep. Otherwise, there were nights where I was literally doing that junkie knob and not being able to fall asleep. And there's nothing that will wreck your health and wreck your mental health, your ability to think clearly, than being sleep deprived. And I was deprived for months. I think there was a day I got 6.5 hours of sleep, and I called my sister up on the phone to tell her, I feel amazing. I got 6.5 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
Now I get 6.5 hours of sleep. It's like, wow, I didn't really sleep very much. I'll probably need a nap. I'm back to requiring 7 to 8 hours of sleep, and I'm fine with that. Your body needs it. It's how your body resets. It's how your body recoups. It's how your mind resets. And I wasn't getting those mental resets, which probably just compounded the other issues that I was having. No, I've never tried any kind of prescription or non-prescription sleep aids. I think
The melatonin, which is like an herbal.
Right. I used to use valerian root.
Yeah.
But here's the problem with valerian.
The tea.
Well, I used to have supplements for it.
Oh.
My problem with the valerian root is I would wake up from the most bizarre, intense, and memorable.
Okay.
My dreams were like Spinal Tap taken to 11, and you'd be like, "Oh my god, I dreamt that I was the Terminator from T2 who suddenly wound up in Porky's." You're like, "What the hell's going on with this dream?" It was that kind of, probably would have made a great comic book story arc somewhere along the line. And if you can convert some of those dreams to a gaming adventure, I'm sure somebody like Wenger would have loved it. But it just simply was not working for me. I had to stop. I know some people swear by it.
When I did that internship with the Chinese medicine, it was a drug and alcohol program, and basically the main component of the program was auricular acupuncture. So you put the needles in different points on the person's ear. So you had a point up here, a point in here, all the way in there under that fold, and then a point here under this fold, and then one back here, and then down here. And like those clients would come in, they'd get their acupuncture. Some of them wouldn't, but they'd be like, I have to have my tea. I'm going to be acting out up in here if I don't get my tea today. They loved this valerian root tea that the director would like go to China and like buy the herbs for and, create for everybody.
The fact that it was laced with opium is just, nobody talked about that part. I need to get my fix on. I need my valerian tea.
It was called sleep mix. I need my sleep mix.
So, like,
no, I'm not leaving without my sleep mix.
I've never had a direct experience with acupuncture, but I do remember after 9/11, down at the site. Oh God, what was it? Was it the St. John's College University had a building out there?
St. Vincent's.
St. Vincent's.
Yeah, 13th Street.
Yeah.
I worked in that. A guy liked my skills up in the Bronx at Lincoln, and he said, yeah, you could go down to St. Vincent's now. They need help with the 9/11 first responders. I was like, oh, okay. That's great. I didn't think I could see well enough to do it, but I always made sure that I felt the person's ear. I just told them I was giving them a massage on the ear.
See, I might have actually seen. I never went for it.
No.
Yeah, no. And people, there were cops, fire department, FBI. My major conversations with the FBI, which was never job related, always happened down there, like on the days after 9/11, because that was a place where everybody, doesn't matter where you came from, what organization you worked for, you were all there for one thing: the ability to let go and to let your mind relax to some extent. And a lot of that was just done by talking with people that didn't come from your background, didn't have your training, but you still shared a connection. And we did that. But I remember watching the acupuncture and going, holy crap.
Why are these people doing this?
it's like, and I'll be honest with you.
But it is very calming. Like there's certain, it stimulates certain points, certain meridians in your body that not only help your body, but help your mind as well.
So here's the thing. All right. I had a lifelong aversion to needles. All right.
Me too.
I mean, to the point,
and I can't believe I let them needle me.
to the point where
it was for my job. I had to do it.
When I was like, I don't know, I was like 5 or maybe I was like 6. I'm at the doctor's office. Me and my sister. My sister was like toddler, and I freaked out because I saw the needle coming. And my sister wrapped herself around the doctor's leg and started biting down. So, and he actually said to my mother and my grandmother, "Get this animal off me." Okay, I still remember this. So, I did not understand why I had this aversion to needles until years later. And remember, I talked out my. I was like, I don't know, 3. I was hospitalized for like a week. Had needles on my forehead, my toes, because everything. Yeah. So I was on a lot of intravenous. So there I am in the police academy, and in the academy, it's kind of like the military. You don't get the option of what immunizations you get, and it's like, oh, they're giving out the flu shot. Yeah, I'm gonna get off this line. Oh no, you gotta be on the line. It's like, oh, jeez, and
Oh yeah, they would hunt you down.
yeah, well, it wasn't even being hunted down. It's like you were just gonna be
Like
there.
at Elmhurst, they would hunt you down somehow. That infection control nurse always found everybody.
No, you were lined up by company, and you didn't.
They'd come to every building.
You didn't want to be the one that was going, as an adult, I can't get a shot. So you dealt with it, and then it's kind of like when you're a kid, right? And you skin your knee, and that first time when you skin your knee, and then you're about to cry, and then you look around and you go, there's nobody here.
Yeah.
And then you go, so if there's nobody here, I no longer want to cry. So why? And I still remember the mindset. I go, so if there's nobody here, I don't want to cry. Then why do I want to cry when people are here? I don't need to cry. I just need to walk into the house and go.
No, I used to.
Ouch, Mom! My knee was bleeding. But no, I was like. So that was kind of like my mindset when it came to needles. When I finally overcame it, which was good because a couple of years later, hey, Hodgkin's, chemo every 2 weeks. Needles stuck into you for hours on end.
Yeah.
You kind of learn to go, okay, I guess I can deal with it.
Yeah, it wasn't until I learned like doing certain types of breath, like manipulating the breath, that I was able to really tolerate needles. Like, because I would tense up and that would hurt even more. But yeah, I used to fight the doctor as a child, like, and be like in my underwear trying to run out.
I'm leaving.
The kicking, punching, screaming.
Yeah, it's not. It's folks. It's.
And then even as an adult, I'd be like, well, why do we have to do that? Shouldn't I only be having a tetanus shot if something happens? They'll give it to me at the emergency room anyway.
Trust me, you don't want a tetanus shot.
Yeah, that's what I said, and then I didn't get it. So I was like, yes, I got passed. So I always tried to continue negotiating from there. But then, I have conditions that I need to get my blood drawn regularly for, and so I can't.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't work. It doesn't work anymore. At 18, I had to go to the emergency room up in the Poconos because I stupidly fell through a burning barrel.
Rusted out
burning barrel.
Sharp.
Thankfully, I still remember some of my judo moves from junior high school, so my arm took the impact. I learned how to fall.
Yeah, they teach you how to fall there, so you're like, oh.
So
okay.
I learned how to fall, but my arm got rushed into it, and my mother, when I went into the house, said, "Hey, I think I need." My mother's like, "Oh my God, dishwashing detergent is not an effective way to clean out a wound, and is probably one of the most painful experiences you'll experience in your life. It's still in the top 5 in my life." So, which is going to be followed by something else in the top 5 that happened the same day, because my mother was in no shape to take me to the hospital, so my father drove. And he gets me there. And it's a small town hospital at the time. It's a lot bigger now. And the nurse is looking at me, and she's like, "Oh, yeah." She's like, "We're going to have to scrape that out." I went, that doesn't sound right. And then she takes out this medicated Brillo pad and puts a little ointment on. And I'm like, she's like,
my skin is crawling.
This might sting a bit. All right, so now she's scraping out this wound, which actually I was able to see was 3 tears in the skin. So, and now all the blood's flowing and dripping onto the floor, and then
shit.
And then she
and you saw him look like meat in there.
Yeah. And then she goes, "Oh, we didn't get it all out." Oh. So I'm like, "Holy shit!" And so she's like, "All right." And she gives me the gauze, and I'm holding it in place. I'm like, "Oh, thank God, the worst is over." And then she's talking to the doctor, who's dealing with I think a broken arm. Yeah, somebody had broken their arm that they had just gotten a cast off of that same arm like 2 weeks ago. High school football player. That's why I never played. Well, in any case, so now she's waving this needle in front of my face, because tetanus needles are really fucking big. And she's waving it in front of my face as she's having this conversation with the doctor. And the next thing I remember was hearing from the doctor, "Holy shit, Who the hell opened up the smelling salts? Because I did the. I was out on the chair I was sitting in. Smelling salts came out. Now, I'm going to say this honestly.
I've done that too.
If she really had my best self interest at heart, she would have given me the effing shot while I was out. She did. She woke me up to go. Okay, you passed out. So there we are. I'm still holding now. I'm like, oh, and smelling salts do smell horrible. I will say that. So now she's got that going, and then I hear that there's a car accident coming in, and somebody's in labor on their way in. So the nurse looks at me and she's like, "Well,
it's good enough."
Yeah, normally you'd probably get stitches for that, but
what?
Yeah.
They opened the shit even more, and then they never stitched it back
They didn't stitch it. No, here's extra gauze. Here's extra gauze. Here's some tape. Here's some antibiotic ointment. If
so just stuff it yourself and put the tape over and have a great day.
If it gets red or infected, come back in 2 days. So I never got stitches from that. So what I know what people are going, what the hell is that story for? Well, it's just
he's a storyteller.
It's to explain, like, my fear. I was 18, and yeah, I thought I was all that, but not when it came to needles, man. Oh, jeez.
I don't think any of us know. Yeah, and she's like, no, I'm never voluntarily just getting that. Some bad shit has to happen, because they're gonna do it anyway.
Yeah, no.
Like even if you said, yeah, I had it like this many years ago. Oh, she's probably lying. Let's just do it.
Yeah, she's not telling the truth. I just got it last week at this hospital. No, you didn't. No, come on, we need to stick you again. So I mean, and honestly, I've been stuck. Now I go to so many doctors, and it's just like, I'll be going like, listen, do you need to do another blood draw? Because I had one done 3 weeks ago. Here's the results. Is that good enough, or do you need another one? And thankfully, I've cut out a lot of my blood draws because I've been able to go. I always bring paperwork from my last doctor's appointment with me.
Yeah.
It just makes things so much simpler and so much easier, and a little bit less getting stuck. But I don't fear it as much. But getting the blood draw is always. There's very few, and I'm not saying there aren't any, but for it to be painless, since I've lost the weight, and I can definitely stand to lose more. Since I've lost the weight, it's been less discomforting because they used to have so much trouble finding my veins.
Oh, they had to dig.
They had to dig, and when they're digging around on the inside, like and then twisting it, you're like, it's like I'm in my 50s. I can't pass out from this shit anymore. I'm not allowed to. So you just kind of suffer through it.
Well, what I notice sometimes the person doing it, they'll breathe with me. They'll hear me breathing, because I'll make sure that I like.
Oh, you put yourself in your happy place.
Yes. And then they'll breathe with me, and then like it almost feels like they go into it with as I'm on the out breath.
Out breath. Insert. Breathe in.
It just feels that way. I don't know if they're really doing it, but I've noticed it feels that way.
Well, I don't know if it really happens that way, but if it worked for you, Rach.
Some of them. I'm not going to say all of them.
God bless. I'm happy to hear that for you. But and now that steps us up in something else that probably as you get older. Mm-hmm. I know when I was younger, I was in my 20s. See a doctor? All right. Well, yeah. Maybe if I have a medical condition that needs to see a doctor. Usually it's like, yeah, I got 102 fever. I'll wait it out, right? I'm not going to go see.
Hell to the no. Gotta go.
Listen, I will say.
Not safe for adults.
I'm going to say, I used to get sick in my 20s. Doctors were verboten. I went once. Well, actually twice, because when I took time off from college, I needed to prove that I was immunized, and I couldn't. So I needed to get re-immunized. But
for what?
Rubella and measles.
Yeah, that's what I had to do, because my titers were low when I started to work at the hospital.
So, and then I became a cop, so you had to get your physicals taken and all that stuff. And then I was again doctor averse until
Mm-hmm.
I got diagnosed with Hodgkin's. And once that happens and you start getting into a bit of a routine seeing your doctors, it is no longer as much of an issue as it was, but still one issue, and I'm sure Rachel will agree with me on this, when you are working, do you want to take time off to go see a doctor? No, you don't want to waste your personal time
No,
off on that. And you don't want to waste a day in the
unless you're
weekend.
really, really uncomfortable.
No, but I mean for general checkup, right? That's the whole.
Oh
That was
yeah,
basically you want this stuff done on somebody else's time, not your own, not your fun time. I don't want to go on the weekend. I don't want to take time off from work. If I could squeeze a doctor's appointment in on my lunchtime, I mean, really,
yeah.
this is the mindset that a lot of us have. Thankfully, I am retired. In my retirement, through no fault of anyone, but the fates and guess some extent myself, I now see. Let's see, an endocrinologist, two cardiologists, and an orthopedist on a regular basis. And I need to throw in a podiatrist, and I got to probably see my GP, at least remind him, yeah, I'm alive. Thank you very much. And please keep records of everything. Because you reach that point. Now I can do this because all my time is my time, right? I'm retired. If it's, I take myself to my appointments, Rach to her appointments, and my parents love their appointments. And that's different when you're working. When you're working, it really, I understand the problems. I understand the mental stress of, oh my God, I only get some vacation time. I get 5 personal days a year. I don't want to waste 2 of them a year on doctor's appointments, right? And if you do, you try to squeeze other stuff into that day to make the day worthwhile and make the doctor's appointment kind of like inconsequential to everything else that you're doing. I don't have an easy answer for you, sadly. I don't, but it's important. I mean, as somebody who has gone through hell and back again, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've gone to my Mount Doom. Doctor's appointments are important, and they are a pain in the fucking ass. Don't I have my doctors that I don't mind going to because you're going to be in and out real quick.
Yeah.
And they do a good job. But they give you an appointment for 11:20 and you get there at 11:10, you'll be in the actual exam room by 11:15 and you'll see the doctor by 11:30 at the latest, right? And then you have the other doctor's appointments where you get there 10 minutes before the appointment and in the back of your head, I'm still going to be here for 90 minutes because the whole process is going to take effing forever. And that's not necessarily a game killer, but it is.
It doesn't make it like that it's a deal breaker. You're not going to go because you know you need to go.
Right, but it makes the experience.
You dread it more.
Yeah, it makes the experience a lot worse. I mean, and I like. Again, I am blessed. I happen to actually like all my doctors. That's not going to happen in all cases. I've had doctors in the past who you dreaded having to see.
Yeah.
And not saying because their bedside manner was horrible. It was because they actually lacked a bedside manner.
Yeah, I never returned to those ones. We got to find somebody new.
Yeah.
But I didn't have that such bad luck,
No, I've had most, in my last, I don't know, 12, 13 years. Oh, excuse me. Hiccuping. Or even longer. It's my last 15 years. Because we are going to be married 10 years on November 5th. And I know that because I put it on our wedding wedding favorites.
Yeah, we have many, many glasses.
Our pint glasses, so I don't have to forget. But I started seeing my GP when I got diagnosed with Hodgkin's, and I got the 5 years clear of cancer. Literally like a week or two after we got married. So that means I'm coming up on 15 years clear of cancer.
Yes.
So that is
Woo-hoo.
not saying I
Have a
haven't I
party.
haven't been kind enough not to give myself other issues to worry about. But that's one that you can look back on and say,
Mhm,
thank you God. But that being said, there are other people in our gaming community
mhm,
who have either recently passed from cancer. Uh, Doug Ray, North Texas
mhm.
RPG Con, fought that battle for years. He basically stole years from the Grim Reaper. God bless him. Doug
Like
was
that imagery.
Yes, Doug was a fighter, and there are others that either themselves or their spouses are fighting cancer. And I mean, the worst part I think about cancer is that it is very unpredictable, and there is it's not like, well, in my case, I had stage 2 Hodgkin's. There were people that would have stage 2 Hodgkin's that would not survive 2 years. I had stage 2 Hodgkin's, and I kept my wonderful head of hair.
Yeah.
I lost the eyebrows and hair everywhere else on my body pretty much. I only had to shave like once a month.
Wow.
But yeah, you don't know, and that I think it makes it even scarier. It's that unpredictability of it. So I
Like
mean,
with what type and
yeah, but
all
even
that,
even the type, like I said,
and how
Hodgkin's,
aggressive it is, you don't know.
you don't know, and sometimes the worst thing that you can do is WebMD.
Mm.
It's a site of villainy and scum in a lot of ways. And a
You
reason,
just can't go Googling.
no, you can't go googling because you're going to get data that, as was explained to me, is the data accurate? Yes, and I did statistics. All right, not as a major, but as an officer and as a sergeant. End of the 90s, the early aughts. I was a CompStat officer and a CompStat sergeant. I did statistics. And part of the thing about statistics is when you read them, you have to realize that you have to where the data is coming from. And in the case of a lot of the studies when it comes to cancer, people that are included in these studies include people that are extremely older, right? The elderly, people who have comorbidities, a lot of times AIDS, HIV positive, because these are things that affect the immune system and therefore makes you more susceptible to cancers.
Mm-hmm.
So once you put these comorbidities into the equation and you see things like 2-year survival rate is 71%, which we reverse that and you go, well, that means 29%, almost 1 out of 3, aren't making it to 2 years. You start freaking out because again, if you're watching this podcast or this vidcast, you are probably a gamer. You've figured out statistics at least enough to know what's your best odds. How do you put the situation that your character's encountering to make the best possible potential outcome? And you read those numbers and you're like, oh, I don't like that. Even if the numbers are in my favor, that's just too big a chance of failure.
Mm.
And it was pointed out to me that if you remove the comorbidities, the actual number in the case of my cancer was more like a 95, 96% survival rate. And once you got over that 2-year hump, the numbers continue to be very high. So um, therein lies one of those issues. I mean, but then again, as you were saying, it depends on the type of cancer that you get. Some are more virulent, but some are just more bastards than others. Okay,
Yeah,
how about that?
they're fucks.
Yeah, and it's just uh, it's never good. And I said this before, and I'll say this again. I have people, especially within this hobby, that wouldn't piss on me if I was on fire, and I probably wouldn't if they were on fire.
Only if you drank 151.
Well, then I couldn't be responsible for any of my actions.
Right?
But here's the thing: I don't wish cancer on anybody. I don't care who you are, and what you said to me or about me. I don't wish cancer. I'm a
No.
cancer survivor, and I'm happy I am one. But I don't wish that experience on anybody. The not knowing is part of the experience. Every night you go to bed while you're going through that fight, we're going through the treatments, and you're just like, is it going to be good? Is it going to help in the end? And I give a lot of credit to Doug, who's again squeezed out a number of extra years that he wasn't expected to have through sheer force of will.
Yeah.
And I believe this weekend at North Texas, at the North Texas RPG Con warehouse, they were having a memorial gathering last night and today in memory of Doug. And that's something that we don't always talk about either. Is how do you, well, when it comes to death, right? The person that passes. For them, this is often a release, right? The case of Doug, he was suffering. Him passing for him was probably the best that could have happened at the point that he was going through. But for us, right, the family, the friends, the community, we're the ones that mourn, right? And we're the ones that go through the suffering. Yet, a lot of times for these people that have been ill for a while, their suffering ends and ours begins, and it's a weird juxtaposition on how that goes. And instead of, I mean, that's why I'm glad that they had a community style memorial for Doug, where people got around and told stories and shared a few drinks and stuff, because that means that you aren't mourning the loss, you are celebrating the life. And I think that that's a mental switch that we really, as human beings, is probably the best way we should handle it, because also it makes it less about you and I lost this, or I lost somebody, I lost a friend, I lost a relative, I lost a coworker. No, I mean, yes,
I was enriched by this.
This person argued with me as to why I had my real last name on my name badge when everybody called me Tenkar, and I was making it harder for him to look stuff up and find my name badge. And I was like,
yeah, we always get in there with fake names, right?
So, I mean,
they never knew how to find my shit.
Oh God, Rach was always a wreck. But I mean, think about it, right? When you remember people, are we going to try to remember them for the deeds that they did and what we're here to celebrate? Or do you want to remember a person on their deathbed? And I've never wanted to remember anybody I've ever lost in my life on their deathbed.
No. But like with my mom,
mm-hmm.
When she passed, it was always her worst fear to die alone. And so, it was important for my brother Thomas and I to be there. My other two siblings, Sarah and John, they were with her through the long haul. Thomas and I lived away. And so when my mom passed away in 2013, my brother Thomas and I stayed right with her. And, they say that like touch and hearing are the first senses that we get when we're in utero.
Right.
They're also the last senses to leave us. So we were able to hold her hand as she released herself, So that, is something that, it's not a lovely memory, but it's like you're glad that you were there to be able to comfort that person to the end. So you couldn't anymore.
Right. It's an important one. Yeah. I mean, I have, the memories of Chris's mother when she passed. Yeah. That was not, she had a brain hemorrhage and was on life support for a couple of days before finally passing. It was not an experience that you want to remember. It's not what I want my son to remember about his mother. I want him to remember the good times. I want him to remember the vacations or arguing over schoolwork or whatever else they were doing. But that's the stuff that you don't want certain images to be what locks in somebody.
Right. The image is going to be there.
Yeah.
But, also being able to play back some of the other messages because they aren't all that last image.
No. So does it mean I have like a selective memory? No. It just means that you have to remember to stress certain. You never forget, but you should remember. Make sure you recall and remember the fun times.
Right. Times. What they were when they were moving around, when they were alive.
Yeah. I know. People are going, wow.
This is taking a turn.
They coming up on that 1 hour mark, and they've hit the low shit. Again, we don't script this stuff, folks. We don't. No. We talk about it, but we don't know where it's going to go.
Yeah, I want to do this, man. And then...
Yeah, I mean, so this is again. It's all life. It's the hex crawl. It's the hex crawl. Yeah. Life is a hex crawl. Okay. I mean, sure, you can say I want to go from point A to point D, but the experience you get in there, you can't always predict how you get there, where you get there, what you find along the way. Excuse me, my wine's giving me a belch.
It was nice, wasn't it?
It was very nice, Rach. I'm finding that I like this, and I think I like the Merlots.
I did a good job picking the Pinot Noir.
She doesn't normally drink red wine, but red wine is better.
It's supposed to be more...
heart healthy.
Health beneficial.
Yes. So, and then I actually do have my cardiologist does suggest 2 glasses of wine. I don't know if it means 2 glasses like this. I didn't fill these by the way, these weren't filled up all the way.
I think it means 2 5-ounce.
Right. So this is probably about 8 ounces of wine plus ice. I got a little bit more coming. But
yeah, that's the typical serving, 5 ounce.
Right. Unless you were going to our pub, in which case God knows what you're gonna get.
Yeah, I know, because they fill that thing to the brim.
So,
if they like you,
folks, seriously, everybody, thank you. I mean, this is cathartic for us to talk with you.
Yes.
We hope that you get something from this. Like I said, the Rach will probably be doing yoga meditation lessons and yoga Nidra. Oh, right. Holy crap. Yeah. Yoga Nidra before she gets to actually like putting me through my hoops and doing an actual,
we'll work on that so that we can kind of get to
acrobatic yoga
there,
training.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we're gonna and it's gonna be, by the way, when we put
this to teach you a little more about breathing.
Right. So when we do these aren't going to be part of the Gamers Health live stream. They'll be up during the week. Because they'll be pre-recorded. Does that really mean much? Not beyond. I don't edit this stuff, right? So we all know that there's no editing going on.
Well, what do you mean? Is it going to be that
we'll do something like
we do it and record it, and then
what
we play it back with the people? We just share the screen.
Yeah. No, we're going to upload it to YouTube, but they'll be able to see it. But we just aren't going to do it live, getting feedback. Although we could do it as a premiere and have feedback as people are watching it and answer questions. Maybe that would be the way.
Yeah, no, I just thought like if you wanted to film it before and then just share screen, people can see it, ask questions, and interact with us as they see us doing. I don't know.
We'll figure this shit out.
I don't fully understand how all this stuff works.
She's gonna have to because she's gonna be teaching.
Heath has to teach me about this stuff more, how to make it work and what's actually possible to happen.
So again, this is our giving back to the community. So I just want to thank you all.
Thank you.
Without you, there's no community, right? And without us, you wouldn't have Tenkar, I don't know, blabbering at you.
You wouldn't have all these wonderful stories to walk away with.
Yeah. By the way, I've told that my voice is horrible, like nails on a chalkboard, maybe.
Oh, that was just a turd.
I'm just saying, man. No, he's the official account from our friend. We'll probably pop in later. Still complains about my voice, because if you don't like a New York accent, what can I tell you? All right, folks.
You don't like any kind of character.
Yeah, you don't like no character, yo.
Yeah.
Hey, Vinny Bag of Donuts, eh? But not all New Yorkers sound like that. A lot of them just sound
No.
like me. Folks.
Or me.
Yes. Again, well, you got Connecticut in you too. So
I do.
That's something scary. Your
Very
voice isn't horrible
different.
unless the story is bad. Thank you, Zach. You smart ass. All right. We're gonna wrap this up. Listen, Rach and myself, we are not medical professionals. We don't give medical advice. We are in the world of COVID. I can give you our experiences. We're both immunized. I got the Pfizer shot. I'm in for a penny. I'm in for a pound. So I'm probably going to go for shot number 3, the booster, later on this week. Rach and
I'm Team Moderna, so I don't get anything yet.
Yeah, Rach and I are going to be escaping for a couple of days with our new car and decompressing. So, but we'll be back in time for another episode of Gamers Health. Listen, use your common sense when it comes to COVID. I'm not saying get immunized. For the longest time, my son, 28, he wasn't immunized. Those are decisions you have to make based upon your own health, your own situation, and talking to your own doctors.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Be safe. Be well.
Be
God
kind
bless.
to yourself.
Roll those dice. House Moderna, they're talking about giving you half shots. So you're not going to get a full shot. You're going to get a half shot when they finally approve it for you. Rachel's Moderna. My parents are Moderna. So, in any case, folks, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. We both do. And Rach and I will be back again
next week,
next Saturday, and I'll be back tomorrow. Just my normal shite. All right. Oh, take and care. Shannon, if you're watching, we missed you today.
We missed you a lot.
All right, that's my niece.
We thought you might join us on this, but
yep.
Well, maybe next week.
There you go. All right, folks. Later.